Leslie says, hello, prayers please for all of us after this election. I want to believe everything will be better after, but I'm afraid it won't. Yeah, I absolutely understand that. I absolutely understand that. You know what? On that note, we're going to talk about something that I'm not really prepared to talk about. So we may talk about it again because I love the sentiment of this. Nina Turner, who is she's a strong voice from Ohio. She's held position in elected office, and I believe she ran for Senate last time and lost, but she's still a person who others turn to get their take on things. She's really quite brilliant. She's brilliant. Like I was going to say, she's strong. She's powerful. I've seen her debate. Don't mess with Nina. She's pretty amazing. Anyway, she was being interviewed not long ago, and in the interview, she says these really, 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 really beautiful words. She says, freedom is no fear. Freedom is no fear. So there's no fear in freedom. And she goes on to explain, she says, we should act with caution. We should act with, and you know what? I'm putting words in her mouth, but just bear with me. She goes on to say that we should act with caution. And we should move with discernment and with wisdom. We should think about what we do. Absolutely. But fear shouldn't be the thing that moves us. Fear shouldn't be the thing that we act on. Fear shouldn't be our driving motivator, right? Fear should not be our driving motivator. If we're operating with fear being the thing that is pushing us along, that's not freedom. In essence, that's a form of bondage. That's a form of slavery. We're being held captive by something else, and we're being pushed forward by it. Now, the reason I love it, well, I mean, what is it? God says, "Thou shalt not fear" 365 times in the Bible. Well, we're not supposed to. Right? We're supposed to be wise. We're supposed to be discerning. We're supposed to be thoughtful. But we're supposed to be moving in a very, very particular direction. We're supposed to be moving in a direction where we are increasingly opening ourselves up to do what is best for our neighbor. We're supposed to be moving in a way that we are able to trust more and to love more radically. We're supposed to be moving in a way that we're willing to give up more of ourselves, believing that we'll be provided for. Even though we give up what we have, we are supposed to be doing this knowing and believing that we will, in the end, that we will be provided for. There's no fear in this kind of life. We can't live this way with fear in our heart. We can't live this way in the grip of fear. It's just impossible. We can't build the world that God is asking us to build if we are doing so being motivated, primarily motivated, afraid of who it is behind which bush forward that's about to jump out and get us. Right? We just can't. We have to operate in a way where we are courageous, and where we're willing to take thoughtful risks. Right? Recognizing, okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay, yes, there's some risk. Yeah, sure, but we're going to do it anyway. Yeah, there's a little bit of danger here, but we're going to do it anyway. Yes, this might put us in harm's way, but there's ways we can mitigate that. Right now, and to me, like that's so important. We know what we're supposed to do. We know how we're supposed to live. We know how we're supposed to love. We know how we're supposed to give. We know how we're supposed to heal. We know how we're supposed to provide. We know how we're supposed to we're supposed to raise up. We know how we're supposed to defend. We know how we're supposed to ally. We know how we're supposed to be there for our neighbors. We know how we're supposed to be just in general. And we can say, oh, geez, there's risk at that. Yes, absolutely. We know that too. We know that there's risk involved living this life. We know that there's risks involved living this life in this way. We follow a carpenter from Nazareth who faced a lot of risks, who was persecuted, who was yelled at, who was mocked, who was called everything and your dog. That's the guy we're supposed to follow. We know from reading the Gospels, and those are just the parts that's been relayed to us. We don't even know what was going on behind the scenes, but we know what he faced, and we know what he suffered, and we know what he did despite what he was facing and what he was suffering. We can do the same. We can live that way. See, fear will tell us we can't. Fear will tell us, don't do that, don't do this, stay away from here, stay away from there. Fear will tell us, you put those people at arm's length, you put those people at arm's length, you keep those people away from you, you put those people behind you, you never go into there, and you never do this. Fear will tell us exactly what we can't do. And therefore, fear will keep us from doing the things that God needs us to do. But if we don't allow fear to be a deciding factor, and instead use our noodles, be wise about it. Recognize there's no fear in freedom. Freedom has no fear in it. Yes, we are called to be wise. Yes, we are called to be discerning. Yes, we are called to be considerate, right? But it's not a matter of, maybe, I guess what I'm getting at is the question fear makes us ask is, can we do this? If we take fear out of the way and recognize that we just have to do it, then the next question is how? How? That's what it is, right? Fear says yes, you can, or no, you can't. Take fear off the board. Recognize, help. If we take fear off the board, we're able to see what it is we have to do. And therefore, the question is, how do I do it? I know I have to. I know I have to be that guy that Jesus asks me to be. So I'm not going to ask, should I? I'm not going to ask, can I? I'm going to ask, how? So those moments where we know there's risk and danger, how do I do it? How do I mitigate the risk? How do I mitigate the danger? How do I do it and keep people safe, including myself? How do I do it in a way that allows me to provide today and come back and do it again tomorrow? How? And how is a much more important question than if or should or could or can. How is a question that's filled with possibility, isn't it? Lord, should I love these people as myself? Yes. Yes, you should. But there's danger. Why are you asking me if? Why are you asking me should? Why are you asking me can? It's the wrong question. You've been told what is required of you. It's not a yes or no. You've been told what is required of you. I've been told what is required of me. It's not a matter of, Lord, can I? Lord, should I? The question is, Lord, how do I? Right? The question, and it's Alwyn and Hammer, how can we do this? And Shane, how can we do this? And Midnight Man, how can we do this? I'm just looking at my screen here. Right? Pat, Maraschino, how do we do this? Contrafax, how do we how can we live the life that Jesus is asking us to live in the world effectively and as safely, as efficiently as possible? Right? There is no fear in freedom. Freedom has no fear. It's fear-free. And so coming back to that question, going forward, Leslie says, hello, prayers for please. For all of us after this election, I want to believe everything will be better after, but I'm afraid it won't. Will you make it better? Will I make it better? Will we together make it better? Regardless of who wins, will we make things better? We know what the answer is supposed to be. We're supposed to. If we let fear get in the way, we might say no. We might say I can't. We might say I shouldn't. We might say it's too dangerous. We might say it's too much work. We might say it's too much for me. It's too much for us. If we let fear get in the way, fear may steer us away from building the world that we're supposed to build. But if we do not let fear get in the way, and we say, okay, it's not a matter of can I, it's I need to make this world a better place. How? How can I do it? How can you do it? How can we together do it? Amen.